You're hot.
It's doing. How's your knee?
Doing good.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, clearly you're walking on it. That's good.
Yeah, can walk on. I got a cane just to balance a little bit, but I'm walking.
Good.
I put full weight on it pretty much, still hobbling, but not.
Did you get the extension done? You were saying you could bend it, but you didn't have full extension.
Oh, I'm almost there, yeah.
Good.
Getting there. So good report. I'm getting around, not too fast, but I can definitely walk on it.
That's a good thing, though. You don't want to go too fast.
Yeah, yeah. I'm happy with the way things going. Doctor seems to be happy, so we're good.
Good.
Thanks for asking. Not rushing to do the second one yet.
Yeah, now you know what's coming.
That's right. I don't know if people ever do the second one after the first one.
Do them both at the same time. That'd be one big surprise.
That sounds like a terrible idea, Greg.
What?
That sounds like a terrible idea.
That's what I was thinking.
No, they don't really do that. I don't know if they'll even do it, maybe on rare occasions, I think.
They
You
typically
need one good one to get you around.
Yeah.
But anywho, all right, so, I don't know, just to rehash, I guess you sent us a pension proposal. We did not get any other revisions that I'm aware of unless I missed something, so. I know you were looking at some stuff and maybe gonna track some changes or something, but, you didn't see that. So, we've gone through some stuff. We've got a few here that we'd like to propose. They're all ones we've discussed, but sort of our latest counter. And they're all basically asking to go back to status quo. So the first one is on leave, holiday leave, Article 20. We have at least one extra copy here.
Yeah, I know, I can give it.
Basically, we've added Veterans Day, which I think you requested. We have not agreed to add the National Peace Officers Day, is that what it's called? So we would propose keeping the holiday article status quo, except adding the Veterans Day holiday. You had asked, just for transparency, or just to make sure we're on the same wavelength, I said you'd ask for the extra holiday and the compensation at 12 hours for holidays rather than 8. But our proposal back to you is to keep it at 8 for working the holidays, but adding the Veterans Day. So that's our current Article 20 proposal. The other ones I've got that are somewhat similar. Next one is Article 21, which is, what's that? Yeah, which is personal leave time. We're proposing status quo on that.
You're missing a page.
On the back.
I get, oops, sorry.
Sure.
So, just let me, I'm trying to help. I'll stop.
We're proposing status quo on that.
On the whole article, nothing changes.
Right.
Okay.
I think you've asked maybe for more leave time, I think was your proposal.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Article 22, hours of work. We're proposing status quo there as well. The primary difference, I believe, is you were asking for overtime status quo at 84.
Of course.
Anything else that they asked for now?
I don't think so.
The only comment I'd make on that is, obviously, it's just additional overtime, which I understand is a benefit to the employees that you were asking for. But 84 is what's permitted by the law, that's the way we've been handling it, and we don't see a reason other than, it's just more money, so it's all tied up with economics.
You guys are aware that there's no other police department or sheriff's office in the state of Florida that I know of that has the way we do it here, right?
The 84?
The 80. If
You're
it's
saying
anything
there's no
over
other that
84,
does 84.
that is overtime.
I'm not aware of
I
that.
don't think that's correct, but
I don't know.
we could go back and look at our survey done. It's been
Yeah,
a
I
little
don't know,
bit.
no other agency that does it differently.
There's one department that does, and that's South Daytona, and they're going to 80+4 with this contract. At least that's the ones that I know about.
And as far as the 12 hours for holiday. So if you work regular city employee, they work 8-hour shifts. When they're off on the holiday, they get 8 hours. So we're all working 12 hours. How does that make sense and what's behind that? Because I don't understand that. That to me is just, you're only giving us what you gave everybody else, which is Veterans Day. That was an automatic because 3 years ago, you said, when I asked for Veterans Day, you said, no, we couldn't get it because if we give it to you, we have to give it to everybody else. So now, it's the other way around. So here's where we're at. All you're giving us is something that we were getting anyway. So the answer is no to everything?
Well, on these three status quo, there's not many differences. Obviously, each one you've asked for a little something in them.
Right.
Of course, suggesting you stay with the status.
But a negotiation is, something, not no to everything. That's just no. It shouldn't be status quo, it should be status no.
Well, that may be your answer, but that's not
That's not my
ours.
answer, it's what it is.
See what they're.
We've got a contract previously, not with you all directly, but, that's been negotiated for years and has things in it, and there's you don't necessarily change just to change. I mean, it's been working for years, so.
It's been working for you, it hasn't been working for these guys.
Well, it must have, because it's been agreed to. We've not imposed, I don't think, we've had an impasse.
Well, things have changed.
Well, I understand. I'm not saying you don't have the right to ask for more at any point, whether it's a different union or the same union. I understand each year people look at it and say, what can we ask for? Understand the desire to have improvements. And certainly over the years there have been, but it doesn't necessarily mean just because it's being asked for that we should necessarily, that it needs to be changed or that it should be changed. So, not, we're in bargaining, that's our proposal at this point. I'm not telling you it's on any of these that, it's all subject to discussion, so.
And is there a proposal on pension and wages?
Well, we do have one on wages and pension. I want to talk about wages first. So, you and everybody's well aware, we did the study, and you're aware of what the study provides generally, I'm sure you have it. You're aware of what we've done to implement the study with other city personnel. The city goal was to do a study and, try to, to have the money to implement the study. So our proposal is basically to implement the study. The study, as you know, I'll start with, may have to turn it over to Sam, but The first year, it's $1.53 for everybody. I believe last January, 2022, sort of the precursor to the study was what, another $1.50 for this group. So, you know, when we added that $1.50 to try to bring things up and start equalizing things and start catching up. And, you know, that was sort of the precursor to the study. And now another $1.53. It's obviously different percentages for people, but the average increase would be 6.3, I believe, at $1.53 average, yeah. Which, but for what we recognize has been big growth in law enforcement, et cetera, for various reasons, you know, would be a pretty significant raise, a 6.3 increase. I say that's on top of the dollar that was given, or $1.50 that was given a year ago, which presumably was about the same. I don't know the exact average, but probably about the same average. And then the purpose, the study talked about for year 2, trying to fix compression. So there's some formulas there, depending on how long you've been in your position and where you go. So here again, some people are with a minimum, I think, of 3, but some people are getting more depending on how long you've been in your position. So people new in their position probably getting less, but people who've been there for more years, you know, probably getting more. But the average probably for year 2 is probably close to 6 again, approximately. So over 2 years, that's 12%. And then year 3 is just basically across the board. Those years 1 and 2 are the sort of the catch-up or fixing the compression. And year 3, we're proposing 2.5 for year 3. And we look at it at that time and see where we are. We think, you know, we've got the wage data, as I'm sure you do. The data we have, that puts us the $1.53.
Is that the same $1.53 that everybody in the city got?
Yes.
Because, yeah, that has nothing to do with any police, anything, because that was done to build up that $15 minimum wage. That's what that is. That has nothing to do with any study that you did for police.
No, that
You know,
is-
we're well aware of that.
Well,
Because,
it is part of the study, and it's
No, it's
still
not.
money, it's still a 6% raise.
show me.
It's still a 6% raise.
And you still have us as the lowest paid agency in the county.
Well, that's not true, besides you interrupted me mid-sentence. We have data, I'm sure you have data, and we're glad to see if our data is wrong or if you have other data, but once the $1.53 is put in place, it puts us within the top 5 of 10, 12 agencies around here. It puts us above many of the other places.
Yeah, the old contracts, right?
Well, we don't know what they're doing for next year, but I'm saying that's year 1, $1.53. So the proposal is $1.53 would go in now when it's ratified. Then October 1, a few months from now, would be the year 2. So, you know, we're not proposing, I presume you expect us to, but we're not proposing wait another whole year. So let's say $1.53, this gets ratified for June 1, $1.53 goes in, we're not waiting a year to next June 1 to put in year 2. We're prepared to do that October 1, whatever it is, 6 months from now.
Right, yeah, we understand that,
Yeah.
but.
So
that
over
being
the
said-
next year, you're getting 6% and almost another 6%. So for this 12-month period, people would be getting a 12%, almost on average, not everybody, a 12% increase. And you're right, we gotta look at what's competitive and keep us competitive. The cities, I don't think looking to be the top or the best, they want to be towards the top, they don't want to be at the bottom. But based on our numbers, when you get to $1.53, that puts you in the top third for sure. So I don't know what your data shows, but it's.
So,
our
so
data
you just
shows
don't want us to be the top paid police department in
the
the county?
number 1 police
Well,
department.
why is the fire department the
Let's-
highest paid in the county?
Yeah, but you also have to think about every city is always gonna be on a little bit different bargaining cycle. So there have been
Yeah,
times
absolutely.
where we are number one, and you know, we don't stay at number one,
We
right?
know the number one, so
Yeah.
that's.
So, you know, we get to the top and then other cities bargain and we drop down a little bit, and then we go up towards the top, and that's just the cycle. But throughout that cycle, we do, as Mark said, try to stay in that top chunk, top third, you know, within the top four, you know, four cities that are really our peers,
Right.
right? Port Orange, New Smyrna, Daytona Beach is always gonna be higher in every area, we know that. And then, so keep in mind, the numbers you're looking at now, when you're comparing us to other cities, we're behind because you all didn't get an increase October 1. So you're actually looking, you know, the pay rate that you all are at now is an old pay rate. It's a year behind because you didn't get your October 1 increase.
But,
So when you're
Which
comparing
would've
them,
been $1.50, that's what I
Right.
say.
but that was, that $1.53 was already budgeted for, correct?
yeah, we have budgeted the pay
Right.
plan. That's what
So
we
how
have
much
budgeted.
money are you saving from October 1st so that they're not gonna get back there?
Well, that depends what you negotiate, right?
Well, I'm asking what the money, I'm sure you
Yeah.
know what the money is on that.
Yeah, well, that's negotiable. I mean, a retro pay is always negotiable, so whatever you guys, I mean, that's just
Okay.
part of the bargaining process. You know what I mean? That's,
Well, I mean, if you guys are gonna enact year two on October one, we're gonna enact year one on past October one. That's
Right.
always not
totally up for
negotiable.
negotiation.
That's subject
Yeah,
to
that's-
negotiation.
yeah.
It's not an automatic to get retro.
And Port Orange, you mentioned, they're starting at 24 now.
Right.
And that's
We're aware.
before even negotiation.
Yeah.
Mhm. We're aware.
Yeah, they just bumped it to 24.
Yeah. With an MOU.
That's
You just had to
correct.
get
That's
part of it.
consistent with our data.
And they're also down 18 positions currently.
And we're negotiating the actual pay rates for the year now, so it will go up higher.
Well, you're right, we will not be catching up with them. But we will be in the top third of other agencies. And, you know, everybody can't be the top. We can't chase, everybody can't chase, you know, the top person, so they went 24. That doesn't mean everybody goes 24. If they do, then Port Orange got no advantage to go to 24. Everybody's at 24. Now, what are they gonna do, jump 26, 28? You know, it's, like you said, it's a cycle where people are close and somebody jumps, but then you look at it, and we think over the 3-year cycle, we're talking about 15% increase.
And can you give us the pay
Keeps us
study?
competitive. What's that?
Can you send us the pay study?
Yeah.
You're talking about the pay
The
study,
report.
talks
That
to the
you
report,
guys
yeah,
did,
yeah.
yeah, we didn't get that.
Can you guys answer the question that I asked earlier? Is fire department is the highest paid in the county, so why can't we be the highest paid police department?
I don't know.
They're close to the highest, if not the highest. Yeah, we haven't done a survey since bargaining.
At the time of their contract ratification last year, they were the highest paid in the county. So,
No response to that, we
Okay.
got it.
That's all I wanted to
It's part
know.
of bargaining,
And
it's
also-
part of, it's part of being competitive, part of what the needs are and things like that.
Yeah, and because of that, because they were ranked higher among their peers, they did not get the same mid-contract adjustment, if you recall. They were the only ones that got a lower mid-contract
well,
adjustment.
right, but you said you want to be competitive, but what you're offering us right now for the police department, it's not competitive with other police departments, it's not.
But we're saying it is, we're in the top third of the other departments.
Yeah, and also I'll point out for fire, you know, it's hard to compare different departments.
I
'cause there's
understand they work
differences.
3,000 hours a year, we work
Yeah.
2,200 a year.
Right,
I
and
know
their
there's
differences, when you looked at their top agencies, were, I mean, it was negligible, you know, the differences in pay. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't dollars apart, it was
Okay.
cents apart,
Okay.
so.
So, Mark,
No, not that one.
on the wages, you said that the average was 6.3% of that $1.53. What's the percentage for the brand new person, the person on the step one level? What is the actual percentage?
For the
For step
first year, for
one?
the $1.53.
Yeah, somebody
Probably
brand new
higher.
coming in.
Yeah, it's
Less you
whatever the
make.
difference in starting is.
$1.53 would be a higher percentage, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it's
Boy,
gonna
I
be
mean, So
higher.
we're in trouble.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but then you're creating compression in year one and then trying to fix it in year two, so it almost breaks even is what, that's, instead of just giving whatever the percentage is, the $1.53, whatever that percentage is across the board, and then fixing the compression, all you're doing is adding compression to year one, because it's not a percentage, so the guys that have been here longer are getting less money,
Which is already an issue.
which is creating compression that you're now trying to fix in year two. I don't understand that, so. That's why
You
we
can't fix it all in year one, so it's being spread
Right.
out.
Which
I
is
agree
why
with
I'm
you, but
offering
what-
a proposal of the 0.5% per year of service in year one, which you guys said no to.
That's the problem, the straight amount in year one is making it worse year one. To only try to fix year two, which you're not doing by any, you're making it worse with the percent.
Yeah, and that's the nature of any pay study, which is why you don't do it in year one. It's just cost prohibitive. You can't meet all your goals in year one. It's always gonna be spread out over multiple years, and you just have to pick what order you're doing it in. It's always gonna be the case. And our primary goal in this wage study was the starting wage salary. That was what was hurting everybody. That was the feedback we got from every department. And so that flat dollar amount is what did that, got it up to, so that recruiting was more manageable, because that was,
Right, but you
that was
understand
the immediate need.
from the union perspective, we're not bargaining for people that aren't here yet, we're bargaining for the people that are here.
And that's the issue I was gonna bring up. You brought up Fort Orange is down. Yeah, Ormond's not, so let's keep the people we got and don't worry about starting wages just yet. We can worry about starting wages down the road, but right now, let's get these guys where they need to be.
Because it's not, I'm not taking away from any of the other public employees, but it takes about 3 to 4 years to know what you're doing as a cop. So yeah, it's great, you got a brand new cop on the road, you put them out on the road. They don't know a whole lot, that's just the nature of the beast. It takes 3 or 4 years for you to even feel comfortable and know what you're doing.
Also though, if you look at the timeline, we're not at the end of bargaining here, right? We've got several months to go. And then it's gonna be just a few short months till we're at year two. So these things are gonna happen almost simultaneously, year one and year two, so.
Do you have a spreadsheet, because I'm a visual guy and I suck really bad at math, that we can see everybody's, where there would be? in
We
year one,
have
2, and
some
3?
calculations, we'll look and see what we can share with you. We have not kept that up to date with all the people coming and go, with the changes in staffing.
It doesn't have to be each single person, but, a year one guy is gonna make this year 1, 2, and 3, or
What-
anything breakdown like that.
Yeah, it's
don't think
based on
breaks out like
individual
that.
salary and time.
How
Okay.
long they've been in that grade, it really just varies. Each
Okay.
person varies.
Year two, I don't know if you need Sam to explain sort of year two, the way it's calculated or whatever, if that would help at all.
So year two is the compression element, which it's based on how long you've been in that grade. So when you read the wages statement, it's gonna say 2%, and people immediately look at that and say, I've been in my grade for 6 years, so I'm gonna get a 12% increase.
Mhm.
That's not necessarily the case. What it's saying is you need to be 12% into that pay grade. That makes sense. So, for example,
Okay.
I was made the manager in 2020,
Okay.
right? So as of October 2023, I will be in my position for 3 years, right?
Mhm.
So I should be, by that compression calculation, 6% into my grade. Now, if I exceed that 6% into my grade, then 3% is gonna be the better option for me. Because then I would have to go negative going to that 6% into my grade.
So it's
Does
or
that make
3%, whichever is higher, but it's
Right,
not.
but if I was only 1% into my pay grade, then the percentage to get me to 6% into my pay grade, then would ultimately be higher than 3%.
So it's not like you propose so much per year of seniority, it's 2% times years into the pay
Pay
grade.
grade.
So you look at minimum pay grade, and you should be 12% in that example above the minimum. And you might be close to that already because of other raises or other reasons.
Right, so if you had stayed a police officer for many years,
Mhm.
then got your increase, you might be beyond that point as a corporal.
That would make sense if there wasn't already a compression issue, but there is. So if we already have officers that are making more than sergeants or more than corporals because there's a compression issue already. So if I just got promoted, I'm only taking a small
Right, but you have to
percentage
also,
versus
I get what
me
you're
being
saying,
at
but you have to take
50.
into the fact that the pay ranges have also changed for this pay study.
I'll make it simpler. Jessica, let's hear, Jessica Fox. When she started here, right, she basically got the same, she started at the same pay that it was already making, because that starting salary, every time we got a 3.5% increase, that starting salary raised with it. The only thing that separates her and I is that I got promoted twice, that 15%. That's it. So the compression is huge, because there's no separation between a rank other than that 7.5%. That's it.
No.
Because you keep raising that starting salary. Every time we get a raise, you're raising the starting salary with that.
Jessica, what year were you hired?
2019.
2019. So, in the past couple of years, we have been raising the bottom because that's what it has asked for, and that's been kind of a fluke in the last couple of years. We've had to increase the bottom to get where we need to be.
Right.
That is not really technically what's supposed to happen, but it was a way to get us where we need to be for the starting wages, ultimately. We are hoping to prevent that in the future. We don't want to bring it up with every single increase, because we don't want that to continue to happen with our employees, with any employee, not just police. So that is not our goal in the future, going forward.
It's noted.
I
It's
understand.
cool, but it's the reality right now.
Right, it's already happened.
And you're fixing it.
Right.
And that's what the compression formula is designed to do.
Yeah.
And it's never gonna be perfect, because we're never gonna take money away from anybody. So you're never, if you're trying to get people to catch up to everybody perfectly, the only way to do that is to take some money away and go with the new pay grades. And we just
Or
fundamentally
give
don't do
an
that.
increase based on years of service, how long you've been here. It's a very simple process. I understand why that doesn't make sense. Somebody who's been here 20 years should be making more than somebody who's been here 5 years. Am I the only one who thinks that? No.
Well,
I don't
in
understand.
part, I think our formula takes care of most of that, maybe not doesn't separate it as much. But looking at 2% per year against the pay grade, that does account for that. That is the effort to do that. And, the pay study, that's part of their recommendation on how to do it. So it's not just what do you feel like doing or what should be done. These are professionals we paid good money for it to do a study, and this is how they recommended trying to fix it.
I'm not arguing that. I understand that costs an exorbitant amount of money to do that pay study. I understand that. Okay. So that's the,
Do you have the wage article?
That would be not give it to you, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that would just help visually.
I might have got distracted.
Thank you.
So basically, year one, current, upon application, $1.53. And then year two is the 2% increase for each year of service from the proposed minimum rate recommended by the study. So it's what Sam was explaining. It's not 2% per year, 20 years you get 10%, or 40%, or 6 years, getting 12%. But you look at that percentage above the minimum. So it's separating, at least guaranteeing that separation based on years of service above what a new person would be making. So you would be making, so it does help to fix compression because it's putting you above the entry level of the minimum rate. And then year three would be 2.5% is what we proposed here. And that's the wage proposal. Now, your wage proposal, I don't know if you costed it out. I don't know if we have the actual cost. I think we do. It's what, $1.95 million, your proposal. And you could add up your percentage increase, but your demand is for 51% increase. I know it's first proposal. I know you'll move off of it. I'm not going to stick to that number, but that's probably the highest increase I've seen. And I've seen some crazy increases, but to ask for 51%, even over 3 years, is, you didn't have to start there. You're free to start there. It's negotiable. We understand that, but want everybody else to understand your demands, 51%, almost $2 million cost, extra cost to us.
And what does this cost?
About 480,000
Over 3 years.
over 3 years, and it's about a 15% increase.
And you'll have a pension proposal.
Well, our pension proposal, and we did have a shade meeting, we did discuss it with our board, our commission. They understand your position and what you're asking for, but basically we are not authorized to change the pension. They are not willing to drop the 2 tiers or, increase that. So our pension proposal is status quo.
We know what we're doing.
We need to go have a talk and then we'll be back.
As I said, this is all negotiable. Talk through it.